BassResinator here. What am I up to? Well, a while ago I made some of these hanging spheres. Right here there's a loop built into that sphere where resin will go around, and then I'll be able to hang it on a I have these loop holders that are, if you didn't get to see the video that I did before, really cool. Well, anyway, this one is going to be, well, almost everything I make is unique because I don't, unless somebody orders a set or a series of things, I don't make more than one or two if I'm doing where I'm using the mold that's got two things on it, or a mold that's got two molds in it. But this is just one. I'm going to use deep pour resin, and I have Bondcrafter deep pour, and I have under here, I've already made my little stock of UV resin, and I've already attached it to the stick and to what is going to be dangling inside of here. Now, let me do this. In the state of Michigan, there is a stone that everybody who goes out to any one of the Great Lakes tries to find. It's called a Petoskey stone. And the Petoskey stones are fossils. They're very, you don't want to put one of these in a tumbler. If you're going to polish it, you're going to have to do it by hand and then put some type of varnish or something on it, which I have already done with this one. Yeah, if you put it in the tumbler, it'll fall all to pieces. It's a very brittle stone, like a sandstone. You don't put a sandstone in a tumbler, you have nothing but sand left. Anyway, I've got this really pretty Petoskey stone, and it's a fossil, and you can tell where barnacle type creatures were attached to a surface, and then those got knocked off, but it left the little rings. Let me show you. See those little markings? They're little rounding, not round, but and then some of them are wrapped around the side. But this, I think, is a really pretty one, and so it's going to hang down inside like this. This is the top part. What you are seeing right here is the back. So I'm going to mix up some deep pour resin, and let me get this up closer so you can see the pattern on it a little bit better. Get the glare off of it. See those little yellowish spots? Anyway, those are the markings. And see, there's the little loop down in there. You can sort of see it. But I'm going to mix up some deep pour resin. I'm thinking that's going to hold like 4 ounces. I'm going to make 4.5 ounces just to be on the safe side. And deep pour is one of those that needs to be mixed 2 to 1, or this kind is. There is one deep pour that I know of that's a 1 to 1, but it's on the rare side. So I'm going to mix up. See if I go to 5, divide 5 by 3, and it does not divide equally. So if I were to go 6, then it would divide at 2 equally. Shall I make 6 and have something else ready to go? Maybe. Yeah, I'll do that. Let me get the, and like I said, it is Bondcrafter resin that I'm going to be using. the deep pour. And you start off with part B, which you need 1 part of this. I didn't finish saying what I was going to do. I'm going to put in the, you know what? No, not quite. No, I was going to think maybe milliliters, but 150 is under 5 ounces, and I'm thinking that may, I'm just going to go 6 ounces. You always want to put part B in first, because part B, okay, there's a dog here. Is that on the outside? No, it's on the inside. Don't want that in my piece. Because it, well, with deep pour, I guess it really wouldn't matter, because it's such a thin resin. In fact, it's almost like water. Okay, that's just under 2 ounces, so I could go up to like like 170 milliliters, which is about 5.5 ounces. So, but usually part A is a lot thicker, and so you don't want part A in there first, because then you won't get a good mix. And this part A is not super thick. In fact, when it's all mixed up, okay, there's 170 milliliters, which is just under the 6 ounce marking on here. Okay, so I'm gonna mix away, and use this side. I'll go for about 3 minutes to see how it's kind of cloudy. After a while, that cloudiness will go away. Now, I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing. I am actually putting pressure on the stick up against the side of the glass, or this mixing cup, and I'm, with this hand, turning it ever so slightly so that I'm getting, and I'm pushing down onto the bottom of the cup with the stick. So pushing on the side and the bottom, because I don't want any unmixed resin going on. Anyway, once I get this mixed in here, I'm gonna put some resin into here, and then actually get it about 2/3 of the way full, put the stone in there, but I'm gonna take that out into the garage where I have my vacuum chamber, and I'll put the rest of the resin that's in here in the vacuum chamber as well, so we'll get rid of all the bubbles, because sometimes, even though this is polished and pretty smooth, it may hold on to some bubbles, and we don't want that. Now, I don't know if you can tell, it looks like little clear ribbons in here. That's unmixed resin. So you just keep going. Now, usually what I do is, I'll count for you. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and I'll keep doing like that. It's sort of like 36, 1, 2, 3, 37, 2, 3, 38, 2, 3, 39, 2. So I'll get up to 60, and then I'm going to change my pattern. But when I go to change my pattern, there's not going to be very many of those streaks left. Now, right about here, I'm going to I changed the direction of the paddle. I was using this way, now I'm switching it this way. And when I do this, then any unmixed resin that was on the one side will hopefully be picked up as I'm pushing it around. $52, $53, $54, $55, $56, $57, $58, $59, $60. Now I'm getting after this, so I've got bubbles in here, but there's no more of those little stringies. So what I want to do is I want to wipe off my stick a little bit so that any unmixed resin that was on there is now off. And then I'm going to go on one side, and I go 1, 2, and then I go to the other side 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I'll get all the way up to 120 this way. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Now change the angle or the direction of the paddle. And I'll just keep doing this until I get all the way up to 120. Now I lost count already, but I'm just going to keep going. There are no more strings or little ribbony type looking things in there. So I know it's already mixed up. I'm just going on I want to be better safe than sorry type of thing, you know. So I'll just keep mixing. The only thing should have in there are bubbles. Nothing there, so I'll scrape around the inside, even though I've already scraped as I turned it. No, that's just bubbles floating around. It looked like a string, but it was the bubbles gliding by. Now, wipe off my stick, and it has already been sealed with some resin from before, so if you use a brand new wooden stick, you'll have a tendency to introduce more bubbles than if you use one that's already been treated like I have done with that one, because it's a porous material. And so if you let it be treated that way, then it doesn't have the air pockets on the sides of it anymore. I mean, I wiped off some, but it's still semi-porous, but not nearly as much. And the more I use that stick, the more filled in it's going to be, so I should have less bubbles. Now, those are very tiny bubbles, and I'm sure they would all come out because deep pour takes 24 to 48 hours to cure. Here in South Texas where I am, where in this room where I am, it's 80 degrees and 45% humidity. That's with my air conditioning going. And the air con takes down the humidity level. So, yeah. So it's out in the garage, it's going to be much hotter. It's supposed to be 101 today. And the humidity out there will probably be about 70%. So it'll cure in 12 hours. So I can actually unmold this tomorrow. I don't wonder what. I'm sitting there trying to make sure I don't introduce any bubbles, and I'm like, there's bubbles in there already. Now I'm trying to get it where that little handle part is covered, and it's almost there. There we go. Now what I want to do is take this thingy off, which what it does is it yeah, there's a bubble that, because the last time I made one of these I didn't do this part, and there was a bubble in the handle And I ended up having to go back and fix it. Come on out. There we go. And if I do it now, and these molds, when I got them, whoop, came with these clips, which is kind of cool. Now, putting this in, which way did I want this? Like this. Yeah, this way. So, put just a touch more in there to cover the top of that. And then I'll go put this in the vacuum chamber. I may have calculated that maybe it holds 170 milliliters. Anyway, I'm going to take this out and put it into the vacuum chamber. I'll let you see I'll take a video, a little clip of it being in the vacuum chamber and watching the bubbles come up. So I'll be back in a bit. We will not have this nice clean tabletop desktop thing. It's going to be in a canister, a metal canister with a little silicone mat on the bottom, and we're going to be looking through about 3/4 inch of glass looking down. So and it's going to be noisy, just letting you know. Okay, so we're looking down through the I guess it's more like a half inch, maybe like 5/8 of an inch thick of glass. And so you can see the bubbles. It's pulling those out. That's air that is in that resin as I mixed it up. And so this will pull it out. And now you see on the right side in the glass where there's hardly any bubbles left. It's because there was not very much resin left in there, so there's not as much oxygen or air bubbles. Whereas over here, I mixed it up and it's a lot deeper, used most of the resin that I mixed up, so it's got more bubbles to get rid of. Now, you see how they're gotten really big on the left-hand side in there? Let's see if I can zoom in. Dun-da-da. Those big ones, I have noticed that when they get like that, it's almost done. Now, after you've used a vacuum chamber, or after I've used it, or if you have a bubbleless machine, there will still be some little tiny bubbles, like right here. You just hit that with a heat gun or with a long handle lighter, and they'll pop right off. There's always going to be a few little bubbles left over like that on the top, but nothing left down inside. So this should be crystal clear sphere when we are done. That's my goal. Now, when I first started this, it was just loaded with bubbles. Now there are still some bubbles coming up, but remember, I said when they get all those big bubbles, it's not long until it's done. So we are done here. I will come back to you when it's time to unmold. Okay, bye. Well, it is the next day, and this is cured up. Remember, I said it only takes about 12 hours. So let me get my stick loosened from there. I'll be able to use that again. But in order for me to get this looking good, I need to trim it all the way down to the bottom. And then, so we don't see that little bump, I'm going to put in some UV resin there and cure that up. Be right back. Get that centered up. Actually, don't need that on there right now. Put the clip over there to the side. I had to open up a new bottle of UV resin. Didn't have any left in that other one. There's a dog fog here floating around on the top. I don't need much, but it did pull down as it cured. So I just need to fill in a little bit so that I cover that little stem that's still sticking out. We got some bubbles here. A little bit of a gap over here on this side. Okay, now see little bubbles hanging out underneath that edge. Okay, now let me try and pop them. There's still some that are being reluctant or recalcitrant. Come on to the top. Come up, I say. You can see down in there how clear that is. That's nice. Come on. They're slowly coming up. And just keep adding a little bit of heat and they're rising. Come on, pop. Okay, well, while I get the UV lamp out here, I will let those come up and I will pop them. I'll be right back. Okay, going under the lamp over here. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, sat under for 2 minutes. Let's get this out, shall we? Whoosh. Get that edge started and then just roll it up. But I gotta get this part right here started. Come on. There we go. Pulling my gloves off though. Can't have that. No. Okay. Stay on, gloves. Well, that's pretty looking. I want this one. There. Come down. Okay, now I know I'm going to have, look at that. That's so cool looking. Now, let's see if this little handle, yes, no bubbles. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now that'll be hanging. I have a, no, that doesn't have, well, let me take care of that. It's got a little bit of a sharp edge, not much. Let me show you how to take that. Since it's dipped down a little bit, I don't have to worry about scratching that bottom. But this is just getting that edge. So it's not sharp anymore. And then use my microfiber cloth. Clean all that off of there. Got dust on it now. There. Ta-da! Look at that. So for any Michiganders out there, there it is. Now let me get the stand. Okay, it's going to be hard to see, but it stands up like this, and then it comes up, and then there's a little loop right here that and it hangs right there. Now I'll get a different angle for you in a little bit so you can see it, because that really looks cool. For any Michiganders out there, this is really neat. Okay, subscribers, thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, you should be. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit, get a little bit better. Let me bring you down. If you're not a subscriber, it's real easy. Just go down to the bottom of the screen, push subscribe button. While you're there, if you push the little bell icon, it'll let you know anytime I do something new. And this channel does have memberships available. If you are wanting to do that, click the button that says join and follow the instructions. Let me pull you down so you can see a different angle of this.